Hey, what is up, guys? Mixoplex here with a Colossus quick guide. Now, for those that don't know from our live streams, this is what we call the God build. Now, the reason why we call this the God build is because it's basically the master of both crowd control and damage. As far as I can tell, is one of the most overpowered builds, if not the most overpowered build in terms of survivability and damage, and it's a great support player as well. So let's go ahead and show you guys exactly what it takes to be the quote-unquote God Colossus. Alright, so kind of looking at the gear, we're going to be using what they call best defense. It's the Masterwork Heavy Assault Launcher, which is an upgraded siege artillery. Has a combo effect: explosive hitting an enemy with a rocket restores 35% armor. Now, if you're not aware, armor is basically health. Now that is a substantial amount. Now that's just one mob. Now if we hit 3 mobs with this, we can go from 10% health all the way to 100% health. It's ridiculously overpowered. I happen to roll combo percent damage on this as well with a little bit of luck, plus some sniper damage. Grenade launcher, I don't really use them, so it's kind of whatever, but those 3 stats are pretty good. So we're going to be using that. Another thing you could use here is Solvent Green. Upgraded Venom Splitter, while equipped combos do 200% more damage. Now, I think if you're doing effectively, I would say GM1 and you vastly outgear stuff, I would say use this one in particular. Otherwise, I would say for even GM1 in certain cases, like fighting Titans, or sometimes you just fight an absurd amount of mobs. Best defense is really just that good. GM1 farming and probably GM2, mostly for GM2 though. Now for weapons, it really comes down to preference. I personally would recommend you build for substats. The weapons, Divine Vengeance is definitely one of the good ones. Truth of Tarsus is one of the ones we're kind of rocking with right now. I'm just kind of goofing around. I do have a Fist of Straw, which is probably up there. But if I was going to use anything, it would be a Thunderbolt of Yevenia. If you're not aware, it does electric damage on hit when you I think it has a higher chance of proc from what I noticed if you hit weak spots or weak points. And it does about 4 to 5k. And that, when you're dealing with shields, is substantial. Like, that's good just for getting the shields off. Definitely useful for GM2, but really when it comes down to it, whatever you feel like using, whatever you feel comfortable with, and whatever you have. Now for Ordnance. And now this is where the OP God mode comes in. Okay. Now this is the upgraded shot coil voltaic dome. It's the upgraded shot coil. It shocks enemies in an area, but enemies are frozen once hit. So now again, if you aren't aware, with shot coil, you have to hold it down, and it will effectively debuff for lightning, right? Well, with this, you get both frozen. Or you get the frozen effect, but also the lightning effect. So you get 2 elements for literally a half a second. So I could go into a group of mobs, pop this one time, it will freeze everything around me, which then allows me to double combo off of them with just a simple punch, and that's all she wrote. This right here will carry you through GM1 easily, and then into GM2. This is what we use when I'm playing Colossus. Basically my Interceptor loves it. One of our viewers, or one of our sponsors actually, runs Interceptor, and he's playing with us, and he consistently has Aura of Ice running, which is huge. There's other builds that you can apply with some of these different abilities, but for this one we're going to play with the upgraded shot coil. Now looking at components, we have Catalytic Overdrive. This is, I think, our most recent one, which is increased combo damage by 50%. Detonating combo increases ability damage by 40% for 20 seconds. Now, mind you, you can literally have this up consistently all the time. As a Colossus, your job is to basically prime and explode combos as pretty much where your damage is coming from. I mean, your ultimate is great and all, but your damage is due combo. So this is something, again, I just got recently, and is very good. Grand Entrance, increased duration of support abilities by 50% upon landing, creates an explosion at the point of impact. Now that is when I can jump up in the air and do a melee attack. This will usually accumulate to 2 or 3k fire damage, which is actually not that bad. So it's free damage, and plus increased duration on support abilities. Why not? Then we have a Demolition Tribute. Increases shield damage while sprinting by 300%. Defeating an enemy within melee instantly grants 20% health. If you notice throughout this video, I'm going to call armor health because that is, effectively what it is. But that is pretty cool. I don't really use it a lot anymore, as I tend to shot coil and whatever. Now, there is some cases, yeah, I'll use it, but it's just one of those things. I mean, defeating an enemy melee with melee, 20% heal. That's, yeah, between that and then the self heal with our launcher, ridiculous. Alright, so we have a reinforced hull. Increase magazine capacity of all weapons by 5%. When an effect is cleared, damage is increased by 20%. Can occur once every 10 seconds. This happens a lot with coil. So what happens is, I believe from what I've noticed when I play, the moment the effect, the freezing effect wears off, or the lightning effect, if it's not already dead, I'll then get a 20% damage increase for 10 seconds. Now, it's pretty good. It's an effective thing. You'll notice I can't really say how the uptime is, but I notice throughout a dungeon or a stronghold, this is rocking almost throughout the whole time we're fighting. I mean, it's always up. It's a reinforced hull, definitely one of my favorites. All right, Stalwart's Badge. Now, increase ammo capacity by 35%. A shield break increases all ability damage by 40% for 5 seconds. This one is something I would rather get rid of, but it does have 23% ultimate speed and pickup radius, which, not the best stats, but the ultimate speed is nice. But not a bad thing if you're using snipers or a devastator, which I would say you probably shouldn't be using at this point, as there's definitely better weapons out there. And then we're using Emblem of Destruction. Mind you, my Colossus has no luck with legendaries, like, at all. just throwing that out there. Outside of weapons. So, increase all blast damage by 15%. Performing a multi-kill of 5 with your ultimate will increase ultimate charge by 3,300%. That's pretty good. I've tried to test this out during strongholds, especially during the bug area in Tyrant Mine, and I don't know how this works, because when I use other classes with ultimate charge stuff, you actually get a substantial amount. I notice when you get this, the bar will then fill up and then it'll go back to 1%, so it's very weird. And I don't think this actually works. I'm actually going to put in the ticket for this pretty soon, but I don't think Emblem of Destruction is currently working. Also, what it also does, if you're in ultimate and you happen to kill 5 mobs, for example, you do get another charge of your shot. So that part of it might be working, but from what I read when I'm doing an ultimate, I should have an ultimate literally up right after it, in theory. So that right there is, before we end this out, we are using shield pulse as well. Now I prefer to go for luck percentage, just because luck is a good stat. But I do have one for gear speed. I do have a battle cry, but I don't really use it that much, just because it's not really needed. And it effectively, you can't really pick and choose what mobs it taunts. And I just, maybe at like higher GM2 dungeons where it's really difficult and I could taunt in LOS for the group, or maybe in GM3, I don't know, but this 33% reduced damage for everybody is pretty substantial. So let me go ahead and show you guys some footage of us running around in GM1. I am going to go ahead and end out the audio here. I'm just going to show you guys, and I'll maybe do a little outro, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys an idea of how it works in GM1 with this build, and then we'll just be running around by ourselves and just destroying stuff. Alright, so we're going to open up with just usual. I'll go ahead and show you guys how we open up. A little bit of melee damage. I can usually one-shot with this build. We'll go ahead and open up like this. Insta combo death. We have overdrive boost already running. One tick of this. Combo. Now, again, this is very much an endgame build for the Colossus. But this is definitely something you should strive for. Definitely later game. This build, if you're rocking it with your group, they're going to love you. Because the ability to crowd control is just substantial.
Hold on, you're moving out of range.
Get some mobs here. And already have ultimate. All right, so we're gonna let everything gang up over here real quick, and then we're gonna do what we do best. All right, we'll get everything here.
That's it. We're back in range.
Well, that dude basically took our kill, but yeah, we had everything lined up for a combo kill. Mind you, this is GM1, not GM2. If this was GM2, we probably would have had to do that at least a couple more times, but definitely would have had it. The great thing about combo damage as well, if you don't know, it does shock to other enemies, so definitely legit. So as you can see, we have overdrive boost and reinforced hull up literally the whole time, so.
Nearly there. They have a fragment for the Arcanist. The Skulls must have it. We need to get it back. Nicely fought. The Skulls will miss their leader.
And there you have it, guys. That is the God Mode Colossus. Pretty overpowered. Definitely, I think some of the components we could probably work on, but in terms of survivability, you have your E, then with a particular component, you have the ability to heal, was it, I think 20% for every mob you kill with melee, so definitely overpowered. But really what it comes down to is the coils. Yeah, it's so good. Just a word of advice, if you do get it, you literally can do it one time, and that's it. One time, that's it. One time, that's it. And it usually, depending on how good your effects stat is, you can apply that almost instantly without any real worry. So there you guys have it. That is the God Mode Colossus build. Now this build is very reliant on getting that particular masterwork ability, the shock coil. Then I would say if you're looking for, you know, OP self heals, best defense is just substantial. Unfortunately, again, I haven't really been able to get all the components for the Colossus, just from what have equipped that I showed you in the video previously. But there you have it. If you have any suggestions how I can improve on this, please let me know in my Discord, and I'll try to improve on them if I'm able to. But this is the God Mode Colossus. It is very overpowered, very combo related, and you do so much damage. In terms of damage and survivability, this build itself quite literally is the most overpowered thing in Anthem at the moment. And I could see this definitely being a for sure strong build going into GM3 if and when we were ever going to attempt that. This build I could see definitely holding us for that particular difficulty. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this build video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more Anthem related content and live streams that we do over here on our YouTube 5 days a week. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one, and stay tuned for more live streams in the days to come.